Here's a cold open to my latest video. That's right, it's me trying to draft a tractor. I'm in a town called Oldford here, and my dad mentioned in another video I said there's nothing in Cheshire worth seeing. Well, I was going through Oldford when I said that, and Oldford is the seat of the Duke of Westminster, the most wealthy man in Great Britain. And to the right of me is this huge palatial estate with manicured gardens, and the River Dee flows through it, and it's got its own iron bridge. It's all private, so you can't really go and explore it, but sometimes it opens up and there's some footpaths. So yeah, Oldford, quite a nice place. And coming down into Farndon now, which is also nice. There's a cenotaph thing. Yeah, we couldn't draft that tractor for long. It was uphill and it was just a little bit too much. We probably spent a bit too much energy trying to do that. But what's a ride without some knob edgery, eh? So rolling down to Farndon here. Farndon's a beautiful Cheshire town that rolls down to a Brownbill Top 10 bridge. But we just passed through. We weren't even meant to come this way. Just the road was covered in horrible loose chippings, so we took a detour through Farndon. And not a bad place. There won't be much of interest for me to show you today, I'm afraid. Good morning! Hello! This is a ride from Cheshire again. Repeating my ride from the other week with Dad. We're going to try and do 100 miles in sub 5 hours. And I'm going to try and be less facetious and show some actually nice bits of Cheshire, if we find any. 1 hour and 8 minutes in, we've done 41.5k. Average pace 36.2. So with that better introduction, I'll tell you a little bit more about the roads we're cycling round. I can't even remember what this town is called, but it's just outside Bangor-on-Dee, and I just think it looks quite nice. I think it's called Worthenbury, actually, that you go through this little chicane, and it's quite like Little England, and as you're coming out of the other side of it, oh my god, it's in Wales. I'm so sorry that I described it as Little England. It's just about across the Welsh border. You go over this humpback bridge with the Weeping Willow and the canal that goes under it. I think that's quite a nice little setting. Like I say, I'm clutching at straws here because I think this is all quite boring. You can see classic Cheshire road, rubbish quality, full of tractors, but quite rural, I guess, agricultural areas, all of this. So this is just coming down into Bangor-on-Dee, which is not a particularly major town. It's heavily featured in some of my videos recently, and I don't know why. It's not a place I go to often, but it's got an old race course, which is what you can see on the right, the race course there. I assume it's horses. I don't know anything about it. Kyle Jackson, I bet you're the man to ask. Is it horses? Do people go there and bet on it? I don't know. It's quite nice though. This is one of the few climbs of the day. I mean, there's loads of 200 meters where you climb 10 meters or descend 10 meters or whatever, but there's nothing I'd call a major climb. But this is a relatively long one for this course. Straight down the other side and then straight up again. So I think in the next check-in I say this is one of the harder segments of the course, and it is. The first 50 or 60 k's flat to downhill, and then we go around this little sort of back end of the course, if you like, where you loop around, and it's very up and down, bumpy, and I think that's just because we're across the Welsh border and Wales does not understand the concept of flat, which is why I love it. It's why I love it that this is the flat bit of, this is the flattest course I could plot, and even through Wales, you know, we're still doing 5%, still plenty of time to roll up, roll down. My metrics are out, as you can see. I mean, you can probably tell that I'm moving quite fast. I'm not moving at 23 kilometers an hour. Pretty consistently, we were bobbling along at sort of 35 kph. I think that's probably the median speed we did on this ride is probably the best way to describe it. And then this is coming back into England now through these little back roads. Very nice, I guess, but the road surface just gets so crap. Yeah, I try and be more positive about this. I really did want to give Cheshire better representation, but it's so boring to ride in.
Hello everyone, 2 hours in, 73k. Got to be quite happy with that. How you doing, Dad? Surviving. Surviving. Good. Standard. Hard Saturday ride. Is us just surviving. These are the averages. Currently I'm on an average power of 262. Average speed of 35.5. We've just done one of the hardest segments, but it keeps being hard for a little while now. So yeah, I'll check in with you at 3 hours. At least I think we'll have a very gentle tailie on the way home, which might help.
Tiny little village of Sarn here. It's only a few houses, but great bridge over the River Dee, and then a little climb out the other side. And again, nice willow trees. There were some good willow trees. I didn't know willow trees were a thing that I particularly liked, but I found out that I do. Very good. Pacing was hard up these little sharp bits, because when I did it on my own, I just punt it up them, but I didn't want to drop my dad. That would be bang out of order, so it made it a bit harder to pace. We're in the town of Malpas now, and I've cut out basically the drag up to it. It's a long, like 2, 3, 4% drag, but over about 2 or 3 miles up to this town, which again was a bit hard to pace. But nice little village. This cafe on the left here, the old fire station, serves the same coffee that I was buzzing about when we were in Oswestry. And now we're coming down to, I don't exactly know what it's called, but there's this sandstone ridge which has a walk along the top of it called the Sandstone Trail. And it's this rocky outcrop that sticks up out of Cheshire. And along it there's a load of like ancient castles, because obviously it was a good defensible area. So this is towards Peckforton Castle now. And then you go up towards Beeston Castle, which you'll see a little bit later. So on the left there is the entrance to Peckforton Castle. This is actually probably my favourite bit of this route. It's really pretty. The roads aren't too busy, but maybe slightly better quality than some of the other areas. And because, okay, you don't get to ride up the hills, you just get to see this sandstone ridge, but at least it means there's some features that aren't just farmers' fields with tractors. So this is now like the back end of Beeston Castle, which is also very nice. And Beeston sticks out way more. When you're like miles away, you can see it across the Cheshire Plain, because, well, there is no other elevation really. It's just this big sandstone lump. If I was a geologist, I'd probably be able to tell you why that is, but I'm not. I like this bit of road dropping down from Beeston Castle. You go over a canal bridge into this, I think it's Tiverton, and here you do like a little bit of roller coastering. It's more fun coming the other way, where you sharp right, sharp left, sharp right again over this bridge. And I said to my dad, I tried to stay in my big ring, big gear there, and it gets properly steep, so I was either going over it fast or I was stalling and falling off my bike. Totally nearly messed it up. Lovely place to stop if you're on a leisure ride next to the canal there. And you can see that's Beeston Castle on top of that sandstone cliff behind. First rear view shot of the day. I didn't do many of them because I felt a bit bad for my dad, because it's basically just like 5 hours of his pain faces right up in my rear view camera. But yeah, I hope that shows how nice Beeston is.
3 hours check-in. Yeah. Coming around Beeston Ridge now, so we're still up on schedule. 34.9 kilometers an hour average at the moment. So 3 hours, 106k. How you feeling, Dad?
Yeah. I'm quietly optimistic.
There you go. Like I said last time, we've put so much time on the clock already that we can now afford to just try and ride to 20 miles an hour. See what we can do. Right, I'll check in at 4 hours.
Just coming down to a little village called Eton. It's just outside Tarpley, and this is like wealthy areas, right? This is, some footballers live around here, but then your average sort of resident is like my managers at work. It's not the sort of people that I directly interact with at work. This is This is affluent territory, so you get a lot of horses. I love to talk to horse riders long in advance, so they and the horses are expecting someone to come and then pass them wide and slow. I really like this little lake on the left. I'll cut to the rear view in a second, and you see that there's some mansions when we get past those horse riders. On the right, you see those mansions that have private jetties onto this lake. Yeah, so something to dream of. I'm not particularly motivated by money, but sometimes you see stuff like that and you think, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? We're approaching Little Budworth. On the right here is Alton Park, which is our local motor racing course. Road surface has just been redone and it's horrible. But Alton Park's nice because there's sometimes crit races around it. You can hire it out in the evenings. And there's like duathlons. It's cool motor racing course as well, actually. And now, well, we're coming up into the area that I'd call Delamere. I think actually we're still quite a long way from Delamere, but I don't really know where to tell you we are. So I'll just start introducing Delamere instead. Delamere is, to my knowledge, the largest forest in this area of the northwest of England. And this is Delamere Forest properly now. You can see we're there. What's both nice and not nice about it in the same way is that it's really accessible. So loads of people will flock here on a weekend. There's loads of mountain biking trails, and it's proper old growth forest, so it's got a really nice feel when you ride through it. This kind of consistently undulating terrain. The road's really fun to ride. It's a bit like a roller coaster, up, down, up, down. But there's something, I don't mean to sound like wanky, but there's something about the old growth forest that just feels really peaceful, even with all these people around, and it's, you know, it couldn't be less the middle of nowhere. These are all Scousers and people from Chester who descend on it for a bit of countryside. But even just cycling this road feels peaceful. All of the trees and the growth dampen the sounds from around. I'm sure you know that feeling. I actually do really enjoy when we come through here. I filmed this whole road and it's not that exciting. I know you're looking at it thinking it's just countryside like everything else, but it's sort of like 15 minutes long to cycle through, and I think it's quite a welcome change of pace compared to the rest of the sort of stuff we'd done. So even though we were so many hours in and tired, I did get a chance to enjoy this quite a lot. And if we're doing a normal ride where I'm not trying to hold a steady pace, a steady hard pace that is, I'd normally like absolutely bang it up the little undulations and then sort of freewheel down, or if I was in a particularly stupid mood, try a super tuck down the little other sides and then again punch over the top. Makes it quite a fun road to ride, a bit roller coastery. It's hard to carry speed though. I don't know how you guys feel, but sometimes I get frustrated on terrain that's constantly up and down. I find it quite hard to carry speed. I guess my natural position on the bike's not that aero, so I don't carry speed through the descents. You can see one of the trails on the right there in the rear view camera, and mountain bikers do really like it around here. You can also see that although my dad said he's knackered, he's doing absolutely fine holding my wheel there. And lots of cyclists come out this way. Not all cyclists around here are masochists like me who think if it's not constant mountains, it's not worth doing. A lot of cyclists love to ride around Cheshire, so yeah, I guess I'm the oddity. I am probably the incorrect person here. Steepest climb of the day here, out of Delamere, and this is the Goshawk pub. It's just a nice pub. I just put it in there because it's sometimes nice to include little bits like that. Me and my dad did get separated here, but you know, when it's like 10%, it was just a case of get over it however you fancy, and we'll regroup at the top. There's no drafting benefit particularly there, so didn't even bother. This road, nice sandstone cuttings through some mansions, and it sort of goes down to a place called Manley, where there's a lake, which you can do like open water swimming in, Manley Mere, that lots of people go to around here as well. Nice leisure place. All in all, I think looking at this footage, you know, it's a very pleasant area, and it's very nice to have around. It's just not the sort of cycling I enjoy, but can't complain, can I?
4 hours in, absolutely no doubt that we'll do it. 140k almost, 34.1 kilometers an hour average. That's great. I think it's fair to say it's starting to get emotional. I can't think of the cycling word for when it's just like everything's hard. We're okay, we'll keep doing it, but you have to think about every pedal stroke to persuade your legs to do it. We're not acutely exhausted, just drained. You feeling okay, Dad?
I'm knackered. I'll get there.
You're the right kind of knackered, right?
Yeah.
The kind of knackered where we'll see it through.
Oh yeah. I've got loads of carbohydrates in my bloodstream.
There we go. All about that blood sugar. It wouldn't be a sub 5 hour 100 miles if we weren't knackered. That's the point. So, yeah, homebound.
Don't even know why I put this bit in. This is just the end of Capenhurst. This was probably 155k in, and I guess I wanted to film something. Yeah, this is nearly home, nearly homebound, and still feeling good. I'm not doing 0 watts. No idea why the metrics are saying that. Hi everyone. A few days after the ride that's been in the video you've just seen, I just thought I'd give you the results. I couldn't film a 5 hour check-in. I wanted to film a 100-mile benchmark check-in, but as we were coming back up the Wirral, we were on like main roads, dual carriageways. It wouldn't have been appropriate for me to get my phone out and film, so I just left it. And I thought I'll fill you in on the details now. So we did it. Most importantly, we definitely got there. It's hard because the total route is way more than 100 miles. It's like 110 or something. But approximately, depending on how you check it, Strava's really harsh with this. Strava reckons we did it in 4:56. My Garmin reckoned we did it in 4:49. Anyway, definitely did sub 5 hour 100 miles, which is great. My weighted average power, again, Strava's really harsh. My Garmin said my weighted average power was 258, which is like, 3.8 or something for me. Whereas Strava's got it down as 251. But anyway, regardless, doing like 5 hours at between 3.7 and 4 watts per kilo, I'm really happy with. I think my dad was really happy with the ride too. It was fast, and he was tired, as he saw in the hour 4 check-in. But he was never close to not being able to manage it. So I think all in all, one for us both to be really happy with and to be proud of achieving. You can see kind of there's not many hills at all, but this is that long drag up to Malpas that I mentioned in the video, and this one on its own here is that climb by the Gosborg pub at the very end, and then it's just sort of a poodle home. So yeah, not my favourite course if I'm honest, but it serves a purpose. It was not too bad for a ride around Cheshire. Not one I want to repeat anytime soon. I'll see you guys. See you in the next video.